The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
Okay, some people say I should give up on podcasting, and some people also say that we should stop trading with the Calgary Flames. Are we going to trade Tom Willander for... We're not going to do it.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's going on? And welcome to another episode of Locked On Canucks. My name is Trevor Beggs, co-host of Locked On Canucks and also a Canucks writer currently with a Daily Hive Vancouver. Before we dive into this shortened episode of Locked On Canucks, we got to tell you that make sure you go like, subscribe, follow us for free on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Things I love to see. I love to see Kyle Battle back podcasting with me. Get no bruises on the throat, man. I'm happy for you. I was worried about you. Other things I love to see is your Vancouver Canucks with legit Stanley Cup aspirations, while the Calgary Flames are selling off assets and rebuilding. But, part of that rebuilding is, like I mentioned it, they're making some deals. They've been shedding guys. They've been adding draft picks. And there's a couple guys, specifically Rasmus Andersson, okay? We talked about this Vancouver Canucks team needing a boost on the back end, likely at some point this season. Could Rasmus Andersson be that guy? Let's get into it. But first and foremost, let me welcome back my co-host, Kyle Bauer. What's going on, bro? How you doing?
And, you're telling the listeners that there's no bruises on my neck, right? But I use some makeup, okay? I use some makeup. It is what it is. This is show business, baby. It is what it is. It's also show business, okay? Like I said, I'm going to do the improbable. And it's F the haters. F the haters, okay? I had another comment the other day saying that I haven't gone through puberty yet, that my balls haven't dropped. These people don't know what I've suffered, okay? All my injuries that I've gone through, okay? The throat injury a couple years ago. Also, my balls not dropping. That's the truth. My balls never dropped. It is what it is. I don't know if it's a Hindu thing or what, but, that's my body. It's 2024. And you know what? This is my hockey team, the Vancouver Canucks. It's September, which means we got to talk about this team every single day. And that's what we're doing here on Locked On Canucks. And we have to do this. And that's trade with the Calgary Flames every single day. That's what it seems like. Are we going to help the Calgary Flames build a dynasty because we're giving them all this draft capital and we're possibly going to give them Tom Willander for Rasmus Andersson, which is kind of ironic because, bro, Trevor, you're giving me that face, but there's how else are you going to get a really good defenseman on this team? You know what I'm saying? You might have to give one up. All that being said, ironically speaking, I watched the film, the Rasmus Andersson film. I've watched him play a lot of games. I watched the Tom Willander film. I'm not going to front. I'm comparing both these players. They really, really, really look alike. If you get a watered-down version of Tom Willander, because he's going to have to kind of be like that if he's going to come to the NHL, you know what I'm saying? He can't do all those special things all the time. He might have to dumb it down to be efficient in the NHL. He kind of reminds me of a Rasmus Andersson. That being said, I hope that trade doesn't happen.
Yeah, I think you and I are both on the same page. I mean, how you get Rasmus Andersson out of Calgary, if you like him as a target, and I'm going to get my take on that in a second here, but I think it's got to be something similar to the Lindholm deal, right? And now the Canucks don't really have any problem contracts to trade, but it's probably something like a first and Aatu Ratu, in my opinion.
That's not going to get it done. That's not going to get it done, bro.
No, but I think I'm not saying that's going to get it done, but I think it's going to start with that
contract. This ain't going to be the same Lindholm thing, bro. I think Craig Conroy kind of knew that Lindholm was like rest in peace, didn't have Gaudreau with him, doesn't have Kachuk, not that guy. But Rasmus Andersson, I'm telling you, that guy is that guy. He's that guy, and he doesn't get paid a lot of money. He's that guy. It's going to take a lot to get that guy out of Calgary.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that it's like a straight up a first and then Aatu Ratu, but I think it's something like that. Look, I don't think the Canucks are trading Tom Willander for Rasmus Andersson, nor do I think it makes much sense to do that. Because the other thing about Rasmus Andersson is last season, and this wasn't talked about so much because the Flames sucked and no one really cared, but Rasmus Andersson was brutal defensively last season.
Whoa.
Among 218 defenders who played more than 500 minutes at even strength, Rasmus Andersson had some of the worst defensive metrics in the NHL in terms of the expected goals against per 60. 212 among 218 defensemen. And it's one of those situations where now Rasmus Andersson, who is, it wasn't too long ago, whereas, the Flames had Hanifin, Tanev, Anderson, and Uyghur. a really strong top four. Now Anderson is more or less kind of the number one guy. Uyghur's there as well, and he's done better defensively in his minutes. But Rasmus Anderson really, really struggled last year in terms of allowing a lot of chances against when he was on the ice because he didn't really have that partner support, especially later on in the season, right? Like he started the year playing with Hanifin. He ends the year playing with Nikita Oktoyoktuk. You think I made that up, but I think I'm pretty close to right. So, we've talked about Colton Parayko this offseason as well as a potential target for the Canucks, and I think here's a similarity between the two players. When Parayko or Anderson is your number one defenseman, you're going to have a bad time. But both guys are good number three defensemen now.
Yeah.
The reason why I don't think it makes a ton of sense to give up assets for Rasmus Anderson in particular is because this guy, one of his strongest traits is his work on the power play. And he's not going to get that opportunity in Vancouver.
Again, maybe I'm blowing things out of proportion, bringing up Tom Willander's name here. You know where that's coming from? It's a trauma response because I don't know what else the Canucks are going to do to get proven NHL players into this building, especially top four defensemen, especially top three defensemen. I'm pretty high on Rasmus Anderson. Say what you want about him being, a power play merchant and him not getting that opportunity if he does get to Vancouver. All in all, though, I see this guy playing with a guy like Susie, whoever he plays with. I feel like if he plays outside the top pairing, he's going to bolster this team to a whole other level. That's just the truth. Now, Trevor, I want to throw this to you. Because, again, I'll be pissed off if they trade big assets for Rasmus Anderson. I really will. For two reasons, okay? Mainly because I feel as if the Canucks are just on the come up. And if they go back to back pretty much, because I'm going to bring up the Hronek trade too, trading first-round picks and players and whatnot to improve this team, I feel as if that's just like a little bit backwards. And at the same time, if they're going to go all in for Rasmus Anderson, why not make this trade last year? You get what I'm saying? Well, instead of getting Lindholm, instead of getting Zadorov, why not make this trade last year?
Yeah, and I think to me, it's not even getting Zadorov. It'd be Lindholm or Anderson, right? Because you paid big assets for one guy, and the Canucks decided that Lindholm was going to be that guy. Mm-hmm. And I think part of it, too, is I just don't think Rasmus Anderson is a perfect fit with the Vancouver Canucks.
I do. Talk-ish. Like, I do. I feel like the skating, the up-tempo-ness, his leadership, his swagger, I think it'll fit the room well. But I'm surprised here. Because on Twitter and whatnot, I feel as if everyone is a Rasmus Anderson fan. But you're over here, pumping the brakes.
Yeah, I in terms of again, looking at the underlying profile, the guy has performed really well when playing with another, grade A defenseman, right? But if he's asked to kind of carry his own pair, he hasn't been as strong. Even Filip Hronek, struggled when playing with crappy defensemen, but when paired with a safe guy like an Olli Maatta, Filip Hronek looks pretty good, right? Mm-hmm. And I think Rasmus Anderson, again, I'm looking at what the Canucks are trying to do here in terms of adding that beef to the blue line, and I think they could use another puck mover. And in that case, Rasmus Anderson fits the bill. But I just think for the price you're going to pay for Rasmus Anderson, he's just not a great fit on this hockey team. And unless he shows that he can, play with maybe a guy like Carson Soucy, or maybe in Calgary, playing with the lesser defenseman and succeeding there. I have a lot of trust issues in terms of can Rasmus Anderson, carry his own pair confidently. And can he make as much of an impact if he's not getting power play time? Because like I said, he's not getting that power play time in Vancouver.
And would he even be getting those opportunities in front of Filip Hronek? I mean, I guess both of them would get a PP2 shot. But anyways, all that being said, again, the more and more I think about this, the more and more I'm scared of the Canucks possibly giving up even more assets to improve a team that's again, year 1.5 of making this climb up. I want to see them prove it again and again before they go all in, and also just see things through with their prospects. And, touching back on the whole Tom Willander thing, I don't think they're going to trade this guy. I think they're really high on this guy. I think he's really good too. I was even thinking about this today, bro. The whole Zach Benson, Tom Willander thing from 14 months ago. Now looking at our decor and looking at the cost to acquire some guys and looking at the fact that we've already given up so many assets over the last 16, 17, 18 months, bro, I'm so happy this team picked Tom Willander.
Look at that, man. There's the positivity Canuck Nation needs, man. Look at you go.
Dude, bro, I'm being truthful, and you want to bring up another defenseman from Calgary because I know there's a good relationship there, and these things kind of happen, especially in the NHL, and especially with this organization, the Canucks. When they trade with the team, they trade with the team again. So this whole like Calgary, Vancouver thing, it could happen again this year. And you brought up Timothy, what's his name? Uyghur? What's his name? Did I say
Mackenzie Weegar?
Mackenzie Uyghur. Ironically, I butchered his name, but again, I punched myself in the throat a couple times yesterday. I think I gave myself CTE. Anyways, Mackenzie Weegar, I like the guy too. I like that player. I like his leadership. I like his motor. I know he's played on losing teams with Calgary, but think about it, like the whole Florida thing. He has a little bit of winning pedigree. Again, a winning type of player. Look at his contract. I like his contract. But again, I'm just so scared of giving up so much capital for a top 4 defenseman. So Trevor, like, should this team be patient and not fix their glaring issue? Because it is a glaring issue. A lot of people love Tyler Myers here, and they see no problem with him being a top 4 defenseman on this team. I don't know what's wrong with you, but this is a glaring issue. But do you feel as if, again, they just got to bite the bullet and just wait for Tom Willander to finish college and bring him up in April to save the day?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it is a bit of a hope and a prayer because I don't like Tom Willander. You know, what is he making an impact for this team? We talk about a 3-year cup window for the Vancouver Canucks. Is he making an impact in year 3 of that cup window? Right, like he's in college next season. He might come over at the end of this season if he kills it, but he's still a rookie in the following year, right? And it is harder.
Though. I think I'm cutting you out a lot because you're lagging a bit. Sorry about that, but I think he can make an impact.
It's hard to do, though. It's hard to do. Like, it's easier for, a winger like Zach Benson to make an impact early than it is for a defenseman like Tom Willander to make an impact and be going against the top forwards in the NHL. But that being said, I like your belief, and I think he showed a lot in college last season as well. But again, I think for a Canucks team that's looking to win the Stanley Cup right now, or at least over the next couple of seasons, I think Willander could be a piece of that. But is he going to be, a core member of that? Probably not, right?
Yeah.
So that's why you have this debate about, like, do the Canucks give up assets for a guy? And between Rasmus Andersson and Mackenzie Weegar, I don't think it's any secret that the Canucks would probably prefer to have Mackenzie Weegar based on the guys they targeted, based on the more of the all-around profile that Weegar has. But I think Weegar's probably going to cost you even more because his contract goes for a longer period of time. I know he's 3 years older, but I think he's just a more well-rounded defenseman.
Yeah. So
and he's been putting up points, man. And he doesn't really need the power play to do it either. The guy's been just an absolute machine back there. I think maybe one of the most underrated defensemen in the NHL.
Oh, yeah.
Like he had some comments about like wanting to be in Calgary long-term and learning from Tana's leadership and all this stuff. And it's worth noting that Rasmus Andersson has a 6-team no-trade list, whereas Rasmus Andersson has a 6-team no-trade list. Mackenzie Weegar has a full no-trade clause. So that's another consideration as well. So Mackenzie Weegar, if you really want to stay in Calgary, he could. But I think Mackenzie Weegar would undoubtedly be the preferred target for the Canucks.
Trevor, there's some comments going on in the comment section talking about like a first-round pick, whatever, blah, blah, blah. If it's like Atu Ratu in a first-round pick for Weegar or Anderson, honestly, I would actually consider that. Not gonna lie, but I just don't think that gets it done. I feel as if Atu Ratu doesn't have like pedigree anymore, as far as being like the blue chip prospect in a trade like that. Because last time I checked, there's 30 other teams, maybe like 25 other teams, 20 other teams that would want one of these defensemen and probably have better prospects than Atu Ratu and possibly a better first-round pick capital to be on as well. For real. Yeah. Anyways, man, Trevor Beggs, Kyle Bound, just rambling here. Getting ready for the season. Tyler Myers, the 4th defenseman on this team. Both of us are scared. Both of us are traumatized. We also brought up the trauma off the top. I'm back, recovering from a throat injury. Yeah, definitely, like punching myself in the throat a couple days ago after reading that comment about me possibly needing to quit podcasting and all that jazz. And Trevor, I want to open up here, man. I'm usually not a sensitive guy. Straight up, I'm confident as F. I've been podcasting for years and years and years, almost a decade. But these comments get to me only because we shared the show together. And I don't want, bad reviews coming in to our show because of my voice, because I haven't gone through puberty, because my balls haven't dropped yet, because of all these things, all these injuries that I suffered from eating all those tacos a couple years ago and working for Pornhub. But I get sensitive because, bro, this show's ours and you have 2 kids. You have 2 kids and a wife. I just have a dream. Like, you got what I'm saying? It hurts my soul knowing that I'm holding you back.
You're definitely not holding me back, man. In fact, I read some comments yesterday that I'm holding you back. So people are always trying to pit us against each other. Maybe we should we should play into it a bit more sometimes, right? Beggsy versus Bowen, bringing that back to Locked On Canucks. Let's go.
They're never
I'm
going
just
to.
kidding, bro. I can't do it, man. I love you. I love you,
They're
bro.
never going to split us apart, man. For real. They can't do it, man. They can't do it, and I'm happy that you have my back. But again, I'm sorry for holding you back because you got kids, man. And those 1-star reviews because of my voice, bro. Come on, I know your kids are readers, man. You got a lot of books in the household, okay? For real. Your little one, your 1-year-old's gonna read that comment and be like, "Wow, I didn't get a PS5 for Christmas because you're podcasting with Kyle." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well,
Anyways,
that's
don't trade Tom Melander, okay? Don't trade Tom Melander.
yeah. That's the message here. And hey, I did tease it yesterday. You know, if you're listening on podcast platforms or you just want to give us a little love, leave us a 5-star review and a comment saying that Kyle's voice turns you on or something else funny. And I told the people that maybe we'll knock $5-10
Oh,
off the shirt.
we will. If you leave us a 5-star review, because again, the hate's always louder, right? Like the people who love your show, they don't really comment or review your show like that. But leave us a 5-star review. Tell the viewership or the listenership that Kyle Bowen's voice turns you on / has you not listening to this podcast around your girlfriend because you're afraid of, a little bit of jealousy, blah, blah, blah. Do that and you'll save $5 off t-shirt purchases in October, okay? Because we got a lot of t-shirts coming out in October, man. And join the Discord, link in the bio. We've been designing t-shirts there early in the summer. I think Anthemous thought of a really good one. We're definitely coming out with that t-shirt. I think we got to send Anthemous a free t-shirt for designing that one. Anyways, link in the bio. Let's not trade Tom Melander. Let's not trade anymore to the Calgary Flames too, okay? For real, because I don't want to help that team build the dynasty in a couple of years, for real. Anyways, Trevor Beggs, Kyle Bowen, hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. It gets us, closer and closer to the goal of going on more double dates to Cactus Club. You know the deal. We live in the West Coast, the best coast of Canada. It's pretty expensive out here. So again, your support goes a long way. Beggsy, sign us out.
All right. Shout out to the everydayers, occasional listeners, first-time listeners, new subscribers, and those of you who joined us on the live show on YouTube, wherever you're listening, whenever you're listening. We appreciate the hell out of you for tuning in to Locked On Canucks. Again, as your Canucks every damn day. We're not quite back to full-time, but we may as well be full-time because we're here every damn day, and we'll likely be back tomorrow. But for now, I'm Trevor Beggs, that guy's Kyle Bowen, and you'll be listening to Locked On Canucks.